we go. Wait, take.
He's got Ben Troupe at the 15, at the 10, hurdles a man, spins to the 5. Oh my, still on his feet, still pounding to the goal line. He's gonna score!
What's up, y'all? It's No Weddings in the Fall. We are excited because, man, what a great college football weekend we had. What a great NFL weekend we had. And we're going to talk about what we're about to get into this week. So let's break it on down. Let's introduce the man of the hour, of course, Ben Skadoo Troupe. Welcome into the studio, sir.
Commissioner, this is always a pleasure to spend the hour with you, sir. I know we got a lot to get to. We got a team like yours who's a real football team that actually cares about winning games. And then we have other teams who, people spend good money to pay for merchandise, ticket, parking, and concessions just to wake up and go, hey, we don't want good players, so we're going to send them to teams that don't even need them, and we have nobody to replace them with. But it is always a pleasure to be on. I did see a gentleman get married, and he was like, I guess this getting married in the fall isn't that bad. If I catch you, sir, we're going to have a serious sit-down. Congratulations, I think. But come on, man. Real football fans ain't going to no weddings in the fall. This is No Weddings in the Fall. And hey, man, I don't know what episode this is, but make sure you tune in, like, share, and subscribe. We're doing what we do.
Absolutely. Well, let's pay those bills right quick. Go to Underdog Fantasy. Use the promo code Troupe. We'll double that deposit up to $100. Lots of fun fantasy games to play on there. Don't have to just play your Sunday or all of them. You can play just the 1 o'clock games, the 4 o'clock games, combine each one. It doesn't matter. Lots of fun stuff to go on there. So if you're 0-7 or whatever you are in fantasy and it looks like it's not feeling good, you can play that every week, and it's all good. Win some money. If you're looking for some championship bling for your fantasy champion, look no further than Pro Am Belts. And if you're watching on YouTube, do us a solid. Hit subscribe, hit like, give it a comment, notification bell. I always forget to say that. Mm-hmm. Do it. Do us a solid. Do that. Little things stopping you from doing it. Big things popping for us when you do. All right, my friend. Well, let's do it. We had such a great weekend of college and NFL sports. Let's talk about it. Let's do it. Oh my goodness. So listen, you talked about the No Weddings in the Fall. I know the deal. You guys know if you've watched the show, I had to go to a wedding in Canada. It was my wife's sister's birthday. And so wedding, sorry. And so this weekend, I was like, nah, this weekend, I'm going to sit and watch college football. And and NFL, she already knows NFL, but I made a stand on, and I'm just kidding. She just was working on a case. I got to chill all weekend. It was great. Let's talk about the first one, of course, my boys, I should say, the U against the Louisville Cardinals. Wow. Oh, wow. What a great game to watch, man. If that didn't have me on the edge of my seat, 52-45 to the U. We could talk about all kind of stats in this game. Obviously, Cam Ward, I won him as the Heisman Trophy winner. Obviously, 319, 4 TDs, ran for 29 yards too on 7 carries. Damian Martinez, that's what I really want to talk about. Not that Kyle Brand would ever hear my take on this, but man, I know you don't include angry runs on college on angry runs, but Damian Martinez should win for the year for that last run he did. If you didn't hear that pop and go, ooh, wow, Damian Martinez hammered it home for the U. He ended up with 89 yards, 1 TD. It's obviously always about Cam Ward. We talk about the U. But Louisville, not for nothing, had a great game. Miami's prone to mistakes on defense, especially allowing big plays, I've noticed. But listen, when I'm watching these other teams play, I'm like, man, bro, all these other big colleges, they feel like they get kind of stuck sometimes in the offense. And I feel like Miami, boy, they all cylinders, all game, every game. So good luck. Let's go. What you think about the game, man?
Man, I agree with you. Mr. Martinez, listen, I don't know what he said to you before the game, sir, but I like to see angry. I like to listen. I like angry running backs just like I like angry O linemen that don't like nobody. Martinez runs like he don't like nobody with the opposite color jersey on, and I can respect that. But you said it. Cam Ward said, "Look, I'm not going to get caught up in the stats. Whatever my defense doing, not doing, I got us. Because at the end of the day, football is about one team having more points than the other team." Cam Ward, coming over from Washington State, he said, "Everybody thinking I'm coming to Miami because I'm trying to get Miami to where they used to be." He said, "No, I'm trying to show everybody what Miami is." And Mario Cristobal had won the transfer portal 2024 because he got Cam Ward, and right now they undefeated. I know they got a team from the Panhandle coming up. I don't know how. People tell me it's going to be a trap game. Yeah. For the Seminoles, they finna get trapped in there with them Canes. It's gonna get, because I think the thing about Cam Ward is that I can appreciate, Commissioner, is he understands the assignment. He accepts the assignment and he says, "I get it. I don't got the last name of Sanders. I don't got the last name of a Manning. I haven't had recent success like Georgia and Alabama and so on. But remember when I told you about them Netflix specials about the U? What's on Netflix right now? The U. It's literally on there right now. I don't know if Netflix be listening to the show. If y'all are, just keep listening to Netflix. It's fine. You don't got to give us no money for that. But Cam Ward has this about him. Cam Ward doesn't care how it looks. He just wants to do. And guess what? He's a Heisman front runner. My two Heisman front runners, Cam Ward and running back out of Boise State. That's my two Heisman front runners right now. But I agree. People like the defense gave up 45. Yeah, well, Louisville's defense gave up 52. So, and when you start talking about how it looks, that's when you're doing too much for me. You will take the win. Because like I said, being undefeated in this point of the season is rare. Because ain't no undefeated. Last time I checked, ain't no undefeated in these P5s. Oh, it is an undefeated in the P5. It's called ACC. It's called the Miami Hurricanes. His name is Cam Ward. He is undefeated. And guess what? I think he just signed with Adidas, like a $2 million deal. Gave all his teammates Beats headphones. Listen, if you're in Miami, no state tax in the state of Florida, by the way, for those you don't know. And you down there in Coral Gables, you the man. Because Tua is married, so Tua ain't going out to the club. Tua is not going out. That's not a newsflash. He's not going out. Cam Ward is in the club with Uncle Luke and Adrian James. And, he got there getting it in, rubbing elbows. Hey, enjoy yourself, young man. You have become a Miami Hurricanes legend. And the season ain't even over there. Shout out to them, Kane. Shout out to him.
Shout out to Uncle Luke. I love it.
Shout out to Uncle Luke is still making 2 Live Crew money.
It's funny being a product of South Florida. That's just what I grew up with. So, I know every lyric of every song on every channel. It's funny when you say it now, though, because people look at you like, hey,
man, listen. Uncle Luke, I'm going to say Uncle Luke to the South at a certain point is what Master P was to Louisiana, what Tupac was to the West Coast. Uncle Luke, he's a pioneer. He yelled and screamed or whatever, but his music, listen, you did not live in the South, whether that's South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia, Florida. I don't know how far to the West, maybe not past Mississippi. Even up there in Kentucky, they was bumping Uncle Luke. You knew it was a party when Uncle Luke come on. Don't stop. That's it. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. And I'm here for it. I did a, they call it Spaces on Twitter. Sometimes people do Spaces. Yeah. I go on the Spaces after Florida played Texas A&M. It was bad. Matter of fact, no. It was after Florida played Miami, first game of the year. I go in the Spaces and I look and I go, that's saying Uncle Luke. Like, is that really? And he started talking. I'm like, yo. This is really Uncle Luke on here, and people just talk, "What's up, Uncle Luke, man?" I'm like, bro, we got Uncle Luke on here. Like, come on. So shout out to Uncle Luke, man. Never met him in person, but pioneer. Don't get enough love like he should, man. Definitely a Miami-Dade County legend, no doubt.
Listen, you need to reach out to him on your Twitter. He obviously follows you or listens. So reach out to him, man. Let's get Uncle Luke.
Listen. I get Uncle Luke on here, and he can say whatever he wants. People go, man, you gonna disrespect Uncle Luke? No, disrespect Uncle Luke.
No. That's like my granddad, man. That's my man I grew up with. So I ain't gonna disrespect Uncle Luke
might run for mayor one day in Miami. He ain't gonna win, but he should run. He should run.
All right. Let's get on to the other action of the day. How about Alabama against Tennessee, 24-17? The Volunteers. Ooh, that feels good. Jalen Milroe with 239 yards, 1 TD, 2 picks. On Alabama's side, really not much in the run game. And the Tennessee quarterback, which I can't, I
call him Nico I am. I cannot pronounce. His name is Nico I am. I can't pronounce. I will not butcher that Polynesian man's name. I apologize, sir. He's the tallest Polynesian on the planet. He's like 6'6", a 6'6" Polynesian that plays football. Only football can do that. Trust me.
Listen, when the Polynesians start getting some height on them, I'm starting to get nervous. That's all I got to say. Dylan Sampson, 139 yards, 2 TDs as well. So, yeah, again, I'm not a big Alabama fan. So, and we had a little cabin in Tennessee. So I was all about this. What do you think of this matchup?
I think it was about time. People kept talking about, Jalen Milroe lost to Vanderbilt. They lost to Vanderbilt. They should have lost. Listen, right now, Alabama should be on a 3-game losing streak. Lost to Vanderbilt, should have lost to South Carolina. Thanks a lot, South Carolina. And Tennessee just said, look, Jalen Milroe is the opposite of Cam Ward. Both are super duper athletic. Both. Cam Ward takes care of the football, and Jalen Milroe does not. And when you go up against teams that are good enough to beat you, and teams that are built to beat you, because you don't build a South Carolina to beat Alabama. You build a Tennessee too. You build a LSU too. You build a Georgia too, and a Texas too. Those types. So for me, Nico I am saying, look, I'm gonna go out here and take care of the football. I'm not gonna put us in harm's way. And Jalen Milroe gonna give us a couple. Because I think this is the thing, Commissioner. Alabama has had its way for a long time with the balls. That ain't got nothing to do with today. And I think sometimes players get caught up in the pageantry and the tradition of something you had nothing to do with. Like I say, while Cam Ward is making himself a lot of money, Jalen Milroe, we can see these games. We can see these decisions you making. And I am never one to take no money out of nobody's pocket, but you are a red shirt junior, whatever you're alluding to, a red shirt freshman, and Nico I am. Shout out to them Vols. I don't know what color. I just call it Tennessee orange or sherbet. That is sherbet. I don't care what no one says.
Creamsicle.
It is. It's creamsicle. It's if a newborn baby throws up. That's what it looks like. What? It is. It just is. And it looks like burnt candy corn. It's just bad. It's just bad. But shout out to them Vols getting it done. And I think for Coach DeBoer from Alabama, he better get control real quick, because Alabama keep playing. They'll be one of the teams on the outside looking in when it comes to the final 12. I don't know, but Jalen Milroe, he's gonna have to figure it out real soon. Shout out to them Vols, man. They only got one loss this year, and right now they sitting pretty right now. They beat Alabama, the same team that beat Georgia, and I think Tennessee still got to play Georgia, so we'll see.
Well, good segue. We're going to talk about Jordan in a second because, man, wow. But I do want to say it's funny because we've been talking about Alabama all year, and it was like, why are they ranked as high as they are? We was talking about that earlier in the year. So, we're starting to see that to come to fruition, quite frankly. And again, say it again, that's why pre-ranking teams that don't hit the field don't make no damn sense. Yep. But anyway, let's segue into that Georgia-Texas game because, man, I will say this, and this is why I say like some of these top tier teams struggling offensively. Obviously, Georgia won 30-15. It didn't look close, quite honestly. And it was disappointing because, man, I was enjoying the whole day. Man, this is like great football day. And I was like, oh, tonight gonna be a great game. Now, admittedly, Wifey wanted to put on a movie, so we let that happen. But I got the little iPad, so I was watching it on there. But it didn't take long, bro, for me to be like, what am I watching right here? But anyway, struggling offensively, Carson Beck throws 3 interceptions and this team still wins by 15. Like, what am I watching right here? I can't wait for Miami getting these playoffs. That's all I got to say. But anyway, what'd you think of the matchup?
Nothing screams what the hell is going on more than Carson Beck, like you just said. All those interceptions and nothing to show for it. Because this what I kept telling people. Kirby Smart, head coach of Georgia, he's sitting around. He says things like, we don't watch game day. We don't listen to social media. Yeah, you do. What are you going to do? Read the paper? No one reads the paper. A person reading the paper, he looks like Orville Redenbacher that used to make the freaking popcorn. No one's reading the paper anymore. But Commissioner, this is when I knew it was going to be. Okay, they at Texas. Who was going to be the guest picker? I was like, Vince Young, of course. He's the guest picker. And then they kicked the ball off, right? Georgia told Texas, let me tell y'all something. Y'all are a blue blood when it comes to brands and branding. Y'all ain't won a national championship since 2005. Who was the quarterback? Vince Young. Listen to me. They beat Texas like that, and Carson Beck didn't play well. I'm going to say that again. The quarterback for Georgia did not play well, and you could not tell. You know who that sounds like? You know who else is not playing well, and they still winning? That would be Kansas City. I know we're going to get to it maybe. But that's what's scary, Commissioner. Usually a team wins because the quarterback plays well. What about when they still win and dominate? Because I think it was 23-0 in the first half. Them Texas fans look around like, Matthew McConaughey, he don't know what to do. He jumped in his Lincoln and drove home. Like, I'm going home. I'm not looking at this. I think the thing about Texas is Texas gonna have a shot to be really, really good now and in the future because they recruit in the state of Texas. They got the brand and all these different things. Georgia said, look, nothing, no disrespect to y'all, but in the words of Kendrick Lamar, y'all not like us. I know y'all think y'all are. This is how I know. Every year for the SEC championship, they have this thing called a legend. They call it an SEC legend. Why is Vince Young the SEC legend for Texas? He ain't even playing the SEC. SEC legend. Now, let me say this. Vince Young is a legend. People say, Ben, how you know so much about Vince Young? Vince Young's first touchdown pass in the NFL as a starter, threw it to your boy against the Dallas Cowboys. So I got a little history with BY. It wasn't shocking to me, Commissioner, for this reason. Texas, y'all in the SEC, y'all ain't running it. Not yet. Listen, y'all in the SEC, y'all a great brand. Y'all ain't running it yet. And all Georgia had to remind people is this. We lost to Alabama. Guess what? They came back and were leading in that game. Should have won it. And now looking back at it, they ain't even no impressive win. Lost now to Georgia because Alabama losing, the freaking Vanderbilt, picking Tennessee. But shout out to them dogs, spelled DAWGS. They probably somewhere right now barking at somebody. That's who my Gators got next. We both got bye weeks this week. But hey, Texas, Steve Sarkisian. Good coach. But a great coach is on the other sideline. Steve Sarkisian is a good coach. A great coach is who was staring at you. But shout out to them dogs getting it done. And the only people who were surprised were people that was rooting for Texas. If you are a Georgia fan or hater, which I am a Georgia hater, I wasn't surprised at all. I mean, Kirby Smart said, Kirby said, I'm not losing to a dude named Steve Sarkisian. So, I'm just saying.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, like again, I'll say it one last time. That Georgia team, they look scary good. Crazy they lost Alabama, but again, that goes to the parity we talked about earlier this season that college football is rising to that bit of parity that you're seeing. So now like teams aren't going to always go undefeated. As you mentioned, very special to be undefeated going into late October and now into November. So great game again by Georgia. I was really impressed with them in that one. All right, let's get to the NFL action that, we talked about them last week. Texans versus Packers, CJ Stroud versus Jordan Love. Lived up to the hype, sort of, 24-22 Packers. I was hoping for a little more juice in the game with CJ Stroud. But, it just, again, we talked about this before and why we picked the Packers is that Texans, again, have struggled offensively, which is surprising. It's almost, we're about to say, the sophomore slump for CJ Stroud. We're really seeing that, I feel. So it was an interesting game. Packers are legit. Like I said, I kept doubting them. They kept proving me wrong. So last week I went with them. But what you think of this matchup?
I knew that the Packers was going to win this game because of Stephon Diggs before the game, these pregame theatrics, him and Jair Alexander. Jair Alexander is a top 10 cornerback, for the Packers. But everybody wants to talk about CJ. Now, I know this is only CJ Stroud's second year in the NFL. This is only Jordan Love's second year starting. So I know he's been in the league longer, but when you get a chance to watch, Jordan Love is a good quarterback, man. I mean, Jordan Love don't got the big names at receiver like some of these other quarterbacks got, And I think the thing about Jordan Love and company is who they beat. When you go out there and beat a CJ Stroud, in the Houston Texans team that's loaded top to bottom, I think what it shows people is we got to get past these level of expectations that was built in 2023. Because when we talk about 2023, Jordan Love went to the playoffs and beat the brakes off of the Cowboys. They didn't just beat them; they beat the brakes off them. People say, "Well, where's Aaron Jones? Oh, he's over there in Minnesota." So Josh Jacobs is out there, with the Packers and company. But I was very impressed with the Packers commissioner. I think if we just, like I said, CJ Stroud, future face of the NFL. So is Jordan Love. Because what does Jordan Love have on his side that CJ Stroud don't? The brand recognition of the Packers. The Texans are not a media darling. They're not. They're in the AFC South. The Titans, the Jaguars, the Colts, and the Texans. None of the only reason why the Colts used to be a media darling is because they had, Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck, right? The Titans had, Steve McNair, and different guys. I think now, and Eddie George. Now, if CJ Stroud and come to keep playing around, they could end up losing to the Colts. People say, why not the Jags? The Jaguars can't beat nobody good. They beat bad teams, and they only win overseas. They can't even win in the States. But very, very impressed by the Packers. Shout out to Jordan Love and company. They found a way to get it done. And I saw a post that Robert Saleh, the former head coach of the Jets, is actually in Green Bay helping out. Him and Coach LaFleur are real close. So he's up there helping with the offense. He's still getting checks from New York, so it ain't like he broke. He might as well go help an offense that actually look good. Because the Jets, Devontae Adams can't help that offense right now. That's hard to watch.
Yeah, we're going to get – well, you know what, man? You're just the segue man of the hour, so let's just get to that one. But let's go Jets versus Steelers. But I just did want to comment. Yes, I totally agree. CJ, Jordan Love, face of the NFL for time to come. I totally agree. Seeing a nice youth movement in the QB position, which we just keep seeing an influx of really good QBs coming out. But let's go. Let's talk about them Jets-Steelers game, 37-15. I'm just going to keep repeating what I said. Listen, we started off this season talking about teams like Baltimore and teams like Eagles. And we said, man, like it don't make no sense that they bring in these guys and like Derrick Henry and Saquon and they don't use them effectively. All of a sudden, those people that get paid that don't like me, don't pay to watch a game, the people that pay to do it all of a sudden realize, oh yeah, let's use those guys. And then when you watch this New York Jets team, this is literally what this team was built to do, was run the football and play defense. And then for some reason in the offseason, a season ago, you bring in Aaron Rodgers to the mix, thinking that's going to bring you up an echelon, which it does. The problem you're having, though, and I can see it live, the Bills game, I saw it in the Steelers game, you run the football effectively, and then when you get to the goal line, you throw it because Aaron Rodgers' ego wants himself to be the person who wins the football game. It doesn't make any sense. Devonta Adams isn't going to fix that. Hassan Reddick coming back ain't going to fix that because the defense doesn't really need to be fixed. It's very simple. Run the football through Breece Hall, and good things happen. Ask Baltimore, ask Philly. All right, what'd you think of the game?
Breece Hall was making plays. People said, oh, yeah, man, he's making plays in the pass game. I knew it was going to be a long game. I said, listen, what are they going to do? They're going to come by, try to establish the little fake bromance with Devonta Adams, and Aaron Rodgers, he drops the ball. And then We was there to see Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers. We left looking at Russell, last name Wilson, and George Pickens. That's what you saw. And the thing about the Steelers is people are like, hey man, the Steelers are good. Yeah, we're looking at one of the most stable organizations ever in the NFL to one of the most unstable on the same field. You mean to tell me you think that the problem with the Jets was we just need a receiver? Really? You need a receiver? No. Your starting quarterback is 40 or 41 years old. He can still sling it, right? Breece Hall is young enough to be Aaron Rodgers' son. That's the difference in age. And here's the thing: when Breece Hall gets hit, he pops up off the ground. When Aaron Rodgers get hit, he just lays there. That's that 41-year-old. Just let me lay here for a second. You don't get off the ground. Let me tell you something. When you get over 40, the last thing you're trying to do is be on the ground for anything. I'm talking about anything, kneeling down to pick something up, trying to get the remote, whatever. And I think Robert Seeley is no longer there, right? So he's not the problem. I like Sauce Gardner, and Sauce Gardner is a top quarterback. He didn't look like that against Pittsburgh. And here's the thing: T.J. Watt didn't even make an appearance. He didn't have no impact on the game, and they dominated. So I say, excuse me, when it comes to the Jets, somebody said they're Super Bowl contenders. Based on who? The Jets. Why? They got Aaron Rodgers. A.A. Ron? No. Because and for people that's being what you're talking about, what would Aaron Rodgers know about being a Super Bowl contender? I know he's 4-time regular season MVP. I know that. And his 20 years of playing football, whatever it is, he's been to Super Bowl one time. I'm gonna keep saying this. Jim Irsay, owner of the Colts, said when they had Peyton Manning, they had him for 14 years. Was it a success? No. We went to 2 Super Bowls. We won one, lost one. We're the best player in football. So if Aaron Rodgers is supposed to get them out the dark ages, the Jets can't beat the Dolphins. Why? Because the Dolphins are better. Jets can't beat the Bills. Why? Because the Bills are better. And they might be in a slugfest with freaking New England. Stop playing with me. Look, the last time the Jets was good, Rex Ryan was the head coach. They're fine. Listen, the Jets have more coaches in like a 3-4 year span than the Pittsburgh Steelers have had in their entirety of their franchise. You cannot win when you're getting rid of head coaches. I'm going to say it again. The best teams have a head coach that's been there over 5 years. His kids can grow up there. They live in the house. They're buying the house they're living in. They're not renting it. But I was surprised that Russell Wilson balled out the way he did. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't see him doing that. So Justin Fields, if you thinking that you were finna play anytime soon, if Russell keep playing like that, get a clipboard, young man, because that was impressive. Russell Wilson was very, very impressive. Very impressive.
My bad. I was on mute. I didn't realize that. Yeah, he was dropping dimes, not for nothing. Very much a time, he's a time-oriented kind of QB. And he was just, a few of those balls, not for nothing. If it wasn't George Pickens, he might have been in trouble with.
Yeah, George Pickens is a very, very, very angry receiver. He don't like nobody. Just watch him on running plays, how he be blocking them DBs. But I was happy for Russell Wilson. Because I'm gonna keep saying this. It ain't but so many coaches could have took a quarterback who was 4-2 and put him back on the bench. And Mike Tomlin is one of them. It ain't too many coaches could have done that. And Russell Wilson proved him right. We'll see how it ends up. Because they still got to play them Ravens. They still got to play them Bengals. So I'm not – listen, and it used to be a time where if Aaron Rodgers was your quarterback, you had a shot. But he played for the Jets. So, when the last time the Jets had a good quarterback? Mark Sanchez. And I'm not saying Mark Sanchez was good. I'm saying he took them to back-to-back AFC championship games. That's got to mean something. We'll see.
Sanchez West or whatever.
Mark Sanchez. The Sanchez out of USC.
Butt fumble, whatever. It's all good.
Yeah, him and Dan Orlovsky. If it's a not Hall of Fame, you got butt fumbles and run out of back of end zones. That stuff is crazy to me. That stuff's wild.
Love it. All right, let's get to some other NFL action. Lions versus Vikings, 31-29 Lions. We said it on the show, so it was going to be the last team who had the ball at the end of the game, and that's exactly what happened. Detroit and pulling this off. Great game to watch. What do you think of this one?
Listen, they did, the Detroit Lions actually got your memo, Commissioner. They gave the rock to Jahmyr Gibbs. His nickname is Sonic. And I know some of my listeners like, what is Sonic? Sonic used to get them rings. You do Sonic, he got a bunch of – and Jahmyr Gibbs, Georgia Tech kid that ended up in Alabama, first-round kid a couple years ago. Shout out to Buchanan. And I will say this. Jared Goff is built to be a Detroit Lion. Like the way he plays within the confines. Think about this. Aiden Hutchinson wasn't even in the game. They still won. That's when your best defensive player is gone for the year, or they say he'll be back for the playoffs. They're definitely going to the playoffs. It was a real good game. Justin Jefferson showed why he's a top 5 receiver. Sam Darnold continues to get better. Minnesota, the fact that Minnesota had a shot to be, still be undefeated after this game, it was just a good game. It was a back and forth affair. But Jared Goff told Sam Darnold, hey, man, congratulations on everything you're doing in Minnesota. Welcome to the division and everything. But this man. And he can't say it out loud. He says it with his play. And if George Pickens is an angry receiver for the Steelers, St. Brown needs counseling. The way he be blocking these DBs, I would fight him. St. Brown looks like Steve Smith Sr. 2024. Like, what's up with these dudes? I don't know. St. Brown, I don't know if he's 6 feet tall. Maybe he got a Napoleon complex. I don't know. But listen, whenever you got on elbow, because when you play in a dome, the things on the elbows, so that's for that turf burn. Well, St. Brown's is black. He want the black ones. I'm just letting you know I'm rugged. My daddy was a bodybuilder. All my brothers got Saint in their name. I don't know why, but ain't nobody gonna question it. But shout out to them Lions, man. Very, very impressive. And a team in Minnesota it was down to the wire too, down to the finish. But hey, man, Coach Campbell sticking to his winning ways, and ain't nobody finna run up on Coach Campbell. You're not running up on him. He still look like he can go out there and hoop. But shout out to them Lions. Get another one in the win column.
Him and Amon hit the gym together. No, I have no doubts about it. All right, let's get to the Monday Night Delight. Bucks versus Ravens. Ended up being a high-scoring game like we thought. A tragic, unfortunate tale of tales for the Bucks, as they will. Dead man tell no tales, as they say. But unfortunately, in this one, Chris Godwin with the big injury to his ankle. You saw Mike Evans already struggling with the hamstring. Like on the first play that I saw go to him, I saw him he was getting a little gimpy. But then when that TD came, or he missed that one in the end zone, man, it did not look good. And those hamstring injuries, as as an athlete, and I just know as a therapist, it's one of those injuries that nags you if you don't let it heal. And if you already have a tiny one and you get a big one, it's usually not a good thing at all. So what do you think of that matchup?
I mean, I agree with you. I mean, it was high scoring. Baker Mayfield and company, and Bucks, they made a game of it towards the end. But Coach Harbaugh was watching the show, no weddings, and he said, "Who is this commissioner?" Oh, he said, "Commissioner Cooper." He sent a memo out. What does it say? Give the ball to Derrick Henry. What? That's it? That's it. Like, dear Ravens, give the ball to Derrick Henry. That's it. That's the whole email. And he CC'd you and Lamar and the offensive coordinator. Derrick Henry is running away from people like he's a little person. Like, I don't get it. Like, he's a long strider, right? The DB, I do not know his name for the Bucks. He was on the left side of the field. So on the 81-yarder for Derrick Henry, the DB is on the left side of the field. I want to say Derrick Henry was running like over 22 miles an hour, which is scary, by the way. Which means if you're trying to steal from him, you better speed off. Don't just ease off because they're going to be right there behind you. The guy, DB called him, right? Called him. 81 yards later, had to cut across the field. The scariest backfield in football, in sports, is the Ravens. That RPO is crazy. And like I said, when the Ravens are playing like that, they're going to be hard to beat. When Lamar Jackson is on another, regular season MVP campaign, because like I say, Patrick Mahomes, he don't care about raising MVPs. And I do feel bad for Chris Godwin. I mean, a guy that's dealt with injuries a lot. And he said, I think he said, time to go back to work. I think he's a free agent after this year. But the Bucs are competitive. They really, really are. The Ravens are just better. I mean, they just thought those receivers for the Ravens went off. Zay Flowers and Bateman, they were going Aguilar, they were going crazy. They really, really. Mark Andrews, 2 touchdowns yesterday. Mr. I know Isaiah Likely, the backup tight end, is kind of on his heels a little bit. But Mark Andrews had to go out there and say, hey, man, I'm still one of the best tight ends in the league. But it was a good game. I do feel bad for Chris Godwin. I do feel bad for Mike Evans, because that's their 2 bell cows at the receiver position. Godwin probably played his last down as a Tampa Bay Buck. Got a Super Bowl out of it. But Mike Evans, get well soon. We'll see. But shout out to them Ravens. I mean, they started off 0-2. They 5-2. It's like that seemed like moves ago. Lamar Jackson making it look easy. What can I say, man? This the Ravens year, but there's a young man in Kansas City that say, if you win it, you got to beat me. And that's much farther down.
So, yeah, just going into that just real quick, I just want to say 2 things. One, I think if Godwin and Mike Evans were full power, we would see more of that Vikings-Lions finish where it would really just be whoever has the ball last, because they, even without, they were still going down. So, I do feel bad for is Baker Mayfield, like, going on this. And from a fantasy perspective, it was the number 1 and number 2 fantasy quarterback. And guess what? They finished number 1 and number 2 that week. So, again, I do feel bad for this Bucs team who was looking fun coming into. So we'll see. Maybe they can pick things back up. Who knows? Maybe Cooper Kupp's in their future. All right, let's go on to the last one you mentioned. The last thing was one other thing I want to say. If you watched the Blonde Blitz earlier, Alex White, live from Vegas, betting expert, came on. She talked about MVP voting, and she mentioned that Lamar Jackson was number 1 and Pat Mahomes was number 2. And I was literally like screaming again, why isn't Derrick Henry number 1? He is the one who makes this team go. Why does it have to be a QB? Why are we talking about quarterback? Pat Mahomes? Like, that's not why the Chiefs are winning. They're just good. Like, that's just it. They're a good football team. He's not like blowing the box out anywhere. So, man, that's just crazy talk to me. But anyway, all right, my bad. Let's go on to Chiefs at 49ers. Well, we are who they thought they were, 28-18 Chiefs. Brought it up before, but we had a lot of crazy stuff go on. Brandon Ayuk, obviously, being injured. Deebo Samuel coming up with pneumonia. Crazy enough. I had him on my fantasy team, and I saw him going out. I'm like, what's going on? And I'm thinking, he's sick. So they go back and get an IV. They'll be back in. Just didn't see it. And then you hear he was hospitalized with pneumonia. Crazy. So anyway, 28-18 Chiefs. What'd you think?
Well, number 1, shout out to the homie Ricky Pearsall, man, former Florida Gator. Finally got a chance to make his NFL debut. Man, got shot before the season, got robbed. So it was great to see him out there. But Ayuk going down was crazy, and the 49ers team was already riddled with injuries. But this is what makes I think at this point, it's a mental, it's some type of force field. When it comes to Brock Purdy, he got to go against Kansas City. He plays good, but not great. Because here's the thing. Patrick Mahomes did not play good. At all. I mean, at all. And they won. Kareem Hunt out there still. I'm like, good God. Kareem Hunt is still getting in the end zone. I think the thing about it is, Oka mentioned something you're talking about when it comes to Kansas City. It's not because Patrick Mahomes is good. They're good. No, hold on. Let me say this the right way. Patrick Mahomes is not playing good. He's good now. He's just not playing good. If the best team in football, best player in football, plays bad and they still win, that's scary for the league. Because the 49ers are good. It's not like you're going up against a slouch. And I really don't get it this year with the 49ers because good teams find a way to be good when players go down. If the best receiver right now for the Chiefs is what, Juju Smith-Schuster? It ain't Xavier Worthy. He's a freaking rookie. And I know DeAndre Hopkins, God, is a freaking Chief. There are certain things that really get on my nerves, man. Like, hold on for a second. You're gonna send DeAndre Hopkins to the Chiefs, dude? I mean, and that's what I'm saying, Commissioner. I mean, I've been doing my best to not lose my mind this whole show. I'm having a semi-good day today. My dogs ain't going crazy. Wife was in a good mood. Kids wasn't terrorizing everything. And I go on X, or I go on ESPN. Why did I do that? I'm having a good day. I was really going on to see how many points Bronny had, because I know him and LeBron, they went out there as father and son. Ken Griffey Jr. Sr. took the picture. And I look, and I go, breaking news, DeAndre Hopkins got what? I said, DeAndre Hopkins going to the Chiefs. Now, mind you, I was like, okay, somebody trolling me. I get it. It's real. And I'm like, so they're undefeated without a number one receiver. And that's taking nothing away from Travis Kelce. Now you give him DeAndre Hopkins. I'm not saying that the NFL be cheating. That's exactly what I'm saying. I don't like stuff like this. I just don't. You know why? Because the Miami Dolphins, when Tua got hurt, they did not have a backup. And nothing wrong with the backup, but you didn't have a legitimate backup. You know who else didn't have a backup? The freaking Titans. They had Mason Rudolph. Exactly. Will Levis to Mason Rudolph. If Will Levis and Mason Rudolph had the number one in front of them, they would be the number 100, because both of them are zeros. Jesus. I'm sick of this. Listen, I'm going to wait to the end to go on my tirade about the Titans. Excuse me. In order to be a good team, what you got to have? Good players. Like you got to have good. Anyway, listen, congratulations, D-Hop. I think, going out to the Kansas City and do your thing, because now we got a guy named Mason or a guy named Will that can't see the broad side of a barn. Man, anyway, Kansas City, congratulations. They're undefeated. It just get on my nerves, and I'm going to go on my tirade about the Titans, because I'm telling you, Commissioner, the stuff that goes on in Nashville, people don't talk about it enough. And I'm sick of it, man. God.
Oh, yeah. We start off talking about Niners and Chiefs, and all of a sudden it's a tirade, and then I love how you like,
I wasn't going to say nothing, but I was like, because, man,
I like how you're like, nah, I'm going to save it for later, but,
however, I'm just saying, listen, I'm happy for D-Hop. He get to finish out his career with a real quarterback, a real one. And he get to go to a franchise that actually cares about winning. So, congrats, I guess.
Good stuff, my friend. All right, so busy week last week. We got to talk about what we're going to watch this week. Let's check it out. All right. Well, in the college game, I was looking around. I had to write a few in because I was not sure, but I do know one I am interested in right off the jump. It's number 12 Notre Dame versus number 24 Navy, who's been pretty impressive so far this season, along with Army, undefeated. It's always like, it's funny because I always remember watching those games as a kid, and I'm always laughing because I'm like, they have no quarterback ever. It's just run, like old school 20s football. Basically is how they're set up, but doing some things this year. What do you think? What do you think of this matchup?
Coach Marcus Freeman better be careful for Notre Dame. That's all I'm gonna say. He better be careful, because Notre Dame is one of those teams. They're good enough to beat anybody, and they'll end up losing. And people like, well, who do they lose to? FIU. SIU lost to them early in the season. People going crazy, but Navy, right? Let me tell you about Navy. Navy's ranked, right? Navy cares about one thing: beating Army. That's it. That's all. That's it. You ask them any time of the year, hey man, how you look for beat Army? But dude, it's the middle of It's the middle of the summer. Don't care. So, but here's what Navy will do. Oh, they'll beat the hell out of you if you let them. Play with them if you want to. You got a bunch of service young men that got real jobs awaiting them when their college career is over, and they going up against Notre Dame and touchdown Jesus. They don't care. They want to get another win. And Mark, like I said, Coach Freeman is going to get the benefit of the doubt because all Notre Dame has is their regular season. They don't got to go to no conference championship games. But if they lose again, I mean, Navy could be dashing. The bettor's going to be going crazy. But I do think it'll be a good game. I think Notre Dame will find a way to, give Navy their first loss. But don't nobody want to deal with a team that all they want to do is run it. Nobody wants to deal with that. D linemen, you got defensive tackles wearing numbers like number 6 and number 5. They don't want to. The number 5 be looking this big on their back because they that big. Stop it. So for me, I think it'll be a good game, but I think Marcus Freeman need to be very, very careful because you make a mistake against Navy, all they got is ball control because all they do is run the ball. So shout out to them Navy servicemen. We will see what happens, but I do think it's going to be better than advertised because they're coming in undefeated.
I always said as a kid, and it's probably silly to think, but I always said, if I ever was facing that as a coach, this running offense, I would just switch like one of my linebackers as safety, and just switch few guys up and be like, go ahead and keep bringing it because I'm gonna keep bringing it right back to you. So, and make you start throwing that football, do something you're not comfortable with. But anyway, it'll be a good matchup. I'm interested to see. Let's go to the number 1 team in the country now, Oregon, facing number 20 Illinois. Who do you think wins this?
Listen, the Fighting Illini, they have been they've been a scary good team. Dan Lanning and company, though, just showed the world. Dylan Gabriel, he nice. That's another. We talked about Cam Ward being the Heisman front runner. Dylan Gabriel might be right there number 2. I think he's already like top 10 list of all time in passing yards. I'm going to say the same thing about this game that I said about the previous game. And be careful because the Fighting Illini, let's call it what it is. Like, whatever they do in the regular season is a bonus. The Fighting Illini, isn't they mascot like a big orange or something like that? Like, hey, I don't know. But I think that Illinois as a team has always scratching and clawing for national respect because people respect them, but do they respect them nationally? Dan Lanning has proven to not just be a flash in the pan coming from that Kirby Smart coaching tree. Oregon is already on the map, but he got to be in real contenders. If Dan Lanning can establish that offense like I know he will, it'll be a long night for the Illini.
I feel like back in the day, it used to be like a Indian chief or something, and maybe they changed it because people are all weird about stuff nowadays. Which, by the way, I just want to comment on that. Like, I think that's really like respectful to. Now, maybe a name called Redskins, obviously not, but to have logos of our history, and it's in a way that it's not a bad way. They're putting a logo out there as in scary, whatever. And again, I just think that's a show of respect in remembering history, really, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm looking at, they retired in 2007. It was Chief Illini Week, something like that.
Yes, yeah.
And I would say this. If these, tribes, whether that be, Florida State, if they have no problem with it, you can respect it. Now, if they have a problem with it, that's different.
Of course.
If they don't, it helps keep their namesake alive. People are just so I think it's a good thing. If the ones who you are speaking of have no problem with it, can continue it. But in 2024, you can't say nothing now. People get offended because the sun came up. I'm offended. The sun is a social construct. Is it? Get out of here.
Yeah. All right, let's go. Number 5, Texas trying to bounce back against number 25, Vanderbilt. Who do you think wins this one and why?
Now, let me say this. This is not your old Vanderbilt, right? Vanderbilt already beat, they already beat Alabama. They already beat Kentucky. I want to say they're 5-2. They're like a game away from being bowl eligible. Texas showed that they can bleed. Texas showed last week, hey, man, we lost to Georgia. Now, Vanderbilt is not Georgia. right? Vanderbilt is not Georgia. But Vanderbilt beat the team that beat Georgia. So all I'm saying is Vanderbilt can't lose, because if they lose, it's Vanderbilt. But if they win, so out Texas, do not look past them Commodores. Okay? Do not look past them Commodores. So I think it'll be a good game, because I think Vanderbilt quarterback is a real good player. You know, he's doing a thing that Jay Cutler can never say he did when he was at Vanderbilt. So shout out to the Commodores right now, and it should be a good game. But Texas, if you come in feeling sorry for yourself, you're gonna have 2 L's, in the L column. Because Vanderbilt, look, whatever Vanderbilt did before these current players got there ain't got nothing to do with them. These young men trying to build their own legacy, and right now they're looking good doing it.
Yeah, just looking over their schedule, boy, they've got a pretty dang good offense, putting a lot of points up every week. Struggled a little bit last 2 weeks with Ball State and Kentucky. But other than that, I didn't see anything under like 35 points. Like, this team puts up points in bunches. So yeah, if Texas again struggles offensively, now not to disrespect anything Georgia's defense, that obviously was a big difference last week. But again, if Texas does come in a little shaken off that last week, they're going to find themselves in trouble early. And of course, we know how that goes. All right, let's go to our last one of the college football series. Number 8 LSU versus number 18 Texas A&M. What you think of this one?
I think this might be a trap game for them LSU boys, right? Listen, I remember back in the day, Texas A&M is a sneaky good team. I think the Texas A&M has done a really, really good job when they first head coach, Coach Elko. I think he's done a good job. LSU shows up when you don't expect them to, and then they'll lay an egg. This is a pick'em game, because in the past I'll be like, yeah, because LSU was usually real good when they got a Heisman Trophy winner or hopeful or candidate at quarterback, but they don't got that this year. Texas A&M, they're trying to reestablish themselves in the new culture with Coach Elko. I like LSU because of the past, but Texas A&M is saying, look, LSU, they all right. LSU entire defensive staff, from the coordinator to the coaches, are all new. Brian Kelly, head coach of LSU, he all right. He don't do nothing special. So because of that, this is a pick'em game. I can see LSU doing their thing, but I can also see Texas A&M potentially wiping the floor with LSU when people start pushing the panic button in Baton Rouge. We will see.
Ooh, wiping the floor. Well, I would be interested to see that. All right, let's go on to the NFL tomorrow night. Vikings at the Rams. Vikings lead the series 27-18-2. Last time they played was in 2021. Rams won 30-23. Possible return of Cooper Kupp. We got the Vikings coming off last week disappointment. So again, this should be an interesting game here. What do you think? Who wins and why?
I think the Vikings get a big win. I think the thing about the Cooper Kupp situation is really, really a head scratcher. Is everybody talking about these new receivers moving around? I heard that the Rams want a second-round pick for Cooper Kupp, which I still think is a steal. Cooper Kupp is still top 10 receiver when you get them to rock. Cooper Kupp is a consummate professional. He says he's gonna keep his eyes on the Vikings, but Cooper Kupp don't like the fact he's being disrespected. Like, dang, man, brother get hurt. Y'all want to put me on the trade deadline like that? I think that's a sign of one. The Rams know this ain't the year for them. When they look around the division, I don't think they're gonna continue the way they want to. Why? Because people thought that the 49ers were gonna run away with the division, and they not. Geno Smith and company looking good up there. And Arizona, crazily is very, very competitive. I think Sam Darnold continues to win games. Sam Darnold's like, dude, I ain't used to this. You ain't used to what? Winning. Why? Because I started out with the Jets and I went to Carolina. Really? Yeah, man. And I was in Carolina with Baker Mayfield. We was there together. But I just think that the Rams are not Detroit. So I say Sam Darnold and the Vikings, they get a big win against a scrappy Rams team. They ain't gonna just lay down, but I do think the Vikings come out with it.
Yeah, the Vikings looking to bounce back, but it's tough going to LA. They're starting to bounce back a little bit. Definitely still got a decent offense. Or defense has struggled a little bit this season. So it'll be interesting to see. But I want to say real quickly, because we brought that up. if what would boggle my mind is if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are not on the phone with the LA Rams right now, because quite frankly, all I heard in the offseason as a fantasy analyst was how Chris Godwin was going to do so well in this offense this season because he's playing the Cooper Kupp role. So, hello, why aren't, if they're wanting to trade him, give him your first round pick for him and get back in business. Because then you got the guy who was modeled in this offense. So, hello, that just makes perfect sense to me and a perfect segue because we'll talk Atlanta.
Hold on, Commissioner.
Oh, yeah, my bad. Go ahead.
You know who was first in the league in catches thus far in this league? It was Chris Godwin. He was number 1, 50. He got 50. So not only did he did his best Cooper Kupp impression. That man had 50 catches. They say he was on par to have like 121 catches. Man, I feel bad for that man. But listen, if you want to put a guy in a Cooper Kupp role, just get Cooper Kupp. Trade for him.
I don't understand sometimes they make it so complicated. Like and in fact, I haven't heard one like a football person, although I didn't get a chance to really hear anything. I haven't heard anyone mention this, and I'm just like, hello, like this just makes perfect sense to me. I don't even know why they're in on the phone. We ain't hearing about this deal being done right now. That's literally exactly what you mentioned is exactly what people were saying, and it was the same year Cooper Kupp did so well in his first year in that offense, and that's exactly what they were talking about. And I'm like, oh my God. So it just makes sense to me. But anyway, sometimes people like to complicate things. Let's talk about another, I guess, controversial thing with America's team, the Miami Dolphins, facing the Arizona Cardinals. Kyler Murray, the return of Tua. The Dolphins are 10-3 against the Cardinals. Last time they played was in 2020. Dolphins won 34-31. They've won 2 in a row. Real quickly, just want to comment because I know on the Blonde Blitz you mentioned you talked about Tua a little bit. So I'll just bring it up real quick. Listen, as a football fan, I don't want to think about it. If I'm being honest, I don't want to think about Tua potentially getting hurt. I just want to go enjoy football and think Tua, good things for Tua. So I hope all the best for Tua. I understand, I guess, why he doesn't want to wear a guardian cap. Not a lot of research on it to say it does anything, quite frankly. But, a little bit of extra padding couldn't hurt. But if you're a QB and you rely on certain, movements, maybe that little bit of weight on your head is a little bit of a difference enough to throw your game off. Whatever it may be, just hope Tua protects himself. No diving forward, bro. I said it when you did it in the stands. I'm like, no, why? And so I'll be there, of course, loud and proud down in Miami representing. Man, be excited for a Dolphins W. All right, what do you think of this matchup?
I like the matchup. I mean, that's probably one of the best analysis I've heard when you say, I just don't want to think about it. Because as people, we get to think. When we think about things, we thinking about things the worst possible scenario. You got to go to the doctor's office. You got a cough, and you're like, all right, doctor. It's like we already thinking it's going to be the worst doctor. Like, you got indigestion, man. It's fine. It's like when it comes to Tua, it's not that if he gets hit, we don't want to. Most of the time when a player gets a concussion, they lay there, they take him to the blue tent, they take him home. Tua, we seeing these, and I'm like you rooting for Tua in so many ways. You rooting for him in life, rooting for him on the field. And like you say, just Tua, listen, you got to learn how to, get out of harm's way. Just slide, man. Like when people go, don't do the Josh Allen diving for like 6 yards. Man, sit down. This first down. Really? Dude, just slide and protect yourself, man. They're going to probably have it's going to be, I see it being a lot of A-chain and Mostert. I see them running the ball a lot. And I see them get the ball out the Waddle, get the ball out to Tyreek. And if Odell Beckham Jr. is healthy, throw to him. Just get the ball out. Get the ball out. But I do think it's going to be a good matchup because Kyler Murray is playing really well this year, and no one's really talking about it because I think with Kyler Murray, people expect him to play well and have a drop-off. He'll play well and have a drop-off. I mean, I want to see Marvin Harrison Jr., Jalen Ramsey. That's not going to be a fun day for him. That is not going to be a big, tall, fast, aggressive, athletic receivers. Jalen Ramsey he just licking fingers like, like you don't believe me? Ask DK Metcalf about Jalen. Ask AJ Green, who fought Jalen Ramsey. So I'm looking forward to that matchup. I'm looking forward to Tua getting back out there because let's face it, when Tua is out there, that offense is beautiful. And when Tua's not out there, you like, what? Where is Tyreek Hill? What? It's like they don't even try to throw the ball to Tyreek. They'll try to hand it to him, but nothing. So I want to see Tyreek 10 get back out there, him and Jalen Waddle and company. But I am in the back of my mind thinking about the health of Tua. I hope he takes care of himself as best as he can with a bunch of 250-pound to 300-pound men chasing you. I get that. But hopefully the 300-pound man in front of you do a good job of keeping the 300-pound man in front of them off of you, and he can go out there and have a good game. I just want to see him walk off the field the same way he ran on. But I do think if Tua's out there, I think Miami, instantly becomes the favorite because the man can sling that thing, no doubt.
Oh, we can't wait. All right, let's get on to Bills at Seahawks. Seahawks lead this series 8-6. Last time they played was in 2020. Bills won 44-34. Oof. What do you think of this one?
I think it's going to be a good game. Obviously, I think that the Seahawks are a better team when they are at home. That 12th man is going to definitely try to do their part. I don't know the health of DK Metcalf right now. If he can't go, that's going to hurt. And, that's going to hurt this Seattle offense. But Josh Allen always try to put on the front. I'm going to try to put on the show when they get to doubt his ability. Josh Allen, I looked at Josh Allen's rushing yards and touchdowns. Dude, like he's doing like Cam Newton type stuff. I mean, I know what he does with his arm, but they say that Buffalo has an offense that doesn't care about who get the ball. You can have a game where you get 10 throws, have a game where you get one throw. They just care about winning. Keon Coleman had over 100 yards last week. While I like Geno and company at home, I think Buffalo is a better team. Give me the Buffalo Bills to take I don't know how long of a flight that is, but it's long. You're going from Buffalo to New York to see it. Like when the Dolphins got to play Seattle at Seattle, that's unfair. We got to fly. Can we meet in the middle? Can we have a neutral site? What is that, like a 7-hour flight from Miami to Washington? So, but I do think the Bills get a good winner. But I do think Geno and company definitely make it competitive, no doubt.
I'll just say this about flying. I hate flying. I think it was, 2 or 3 years ago, we went to the Fantasy Football Expo, which was in Canton, Ohio. And on the way back, I had my flight get diverted because there was storms here in Florida. So they actually on the way we were like past Jacksonville a little bit. I don't know how far we were, but a little bit. We're getting close. And all of a sudden the pilot comes on and says, due to storms, we can't land. So he basically we're just going to circle around. And I'm sitting here like, what? You're doing what? Like, just get on the ground. Like, I don't want to be in the air. And literally,
yeah. I'm like, listen, do me a favor here. Don't. How about you just circle around the tarp? When we on the ground, just do that.
Yeah,
I don't want to. No one wants to circle in the air. Nobody.
Oh my God. You know what's funny, Ben? It lasted for an hour, and then he finally comes on and says, "Yeah, so we're running out of fuel, so we're gonna." And I'm like, "What? What's going on?" So he finally landed in Jacksonville, and in fact, I got on the phone. Mary Jane's such a trooper. I was telling her the whole thing. She knows how I hate flying. She's like, "All right, I'll just come drive up there." I'm like, "Nah." Listen, first of all, I appreciate you, but Florida is a long drive. And even we in the middle of the state, it's a long drive. And after all of this, I do not want to send no car and drive all the way back. Bump it. It's going to be 45 minutes once we get on. I'll wait. But anyway, I can't imagine a 7-hour flight. No, thank you.
Oh, yeah. There's nothing sexy about we'll be cruising at it. I don't care. 35,000 feet, 7 hours or 26 minutes. What? They're going to be counting non-drunk people. Who the sober people still on this flight? Because you've been drinking. You'll take your first drink going that far.
In Canada, it's 3.5 hours. Just to put I'm good with that. And that was another country. I'm good. All right, let's go on to I mean, this is to me. Well, if Jaden Daniels plays, this is a really good matchup. But unfortunately, I don't know if he's going to make it. But Bears at Commanders. Commanders lead the series 27-25-1. Last time they played was last year, 23, and the Bears won 40-20. So this is gonna, to me, a really good matchup if Jaden Daniels goes. You talked about new faces of the league. Well, how about Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams? Got another two faces coming up. So this is a good matchup if that happens. If not, won't be as good. But interested to see your take on it.
Oh, I'm looking forward to this one. I do agree. I want to see Jaden Daniels get out of number one versus number two. Two former Heisman Trophy winners going at each other. DJ Moore said something interesting about Caleb Williams. They was interviewing him. He said Caleb Williams is bossy. He said, but he's bossy in a good way. Now, I don't know how bossy and in a good way go together, but I'm not in that locker room. I guess they saying that Caleb Williams is, he's demanding. I think that's the word that DJ, meaning run the route at this depth. Give me something. I'm a rookie, man. You can't improvise when I'm out there. You got to do what the play call says because I'm still building my rapport. I'm still building my confidence. Now, there's Caleb Williams that got the team. And there is Jaden Daniels that is nice. Jaden Daniels is nice. He knows he's nice, right? His game is smooth. But Jaden Daniels learned something really, 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 really fundamental on Sunday. The NFL is not about if they hit you, it's when. They are going to hit you, Jaden. And the thing about those hits is most people will never get hit in their life. If I'm delivering a pass, they catch you right in the shoulder. Bah! Uh-oh. Catch you right in that hip. Jaden Daniels will never, ever be confused for a bodybuilder. He's not the biggest guy. About 6'2", 6'3", about 205. Kind of has a similar build of a Lamar Jackson as far as like his build. But when he's out there, that defense is nervous. I don't even the Bears defense. Because guess what? Jaden Daniels, somebody got to tell him, hey, dude, aren't you a rookie? Because he don't play like it. You a rookie, right? Yeah, but listen, I think I don't know I can't remember what rapper said this. He says, I ain't new to this, I'm true to this. Jaden Daniels is true to this, right? He is, right? And I think the thing about it is Caleb Williams get to look across that sideline and go, hey man, is that how y'all want me to play? No, because you can't do that. Just be you, Caleb. Let Jaden be Jaden. But the Commanders, not only are they a good team, they're worth watching when Jaden Daniels is out there. So, hey, I do hope Jaden Daniels plays. I know he had a standing ovation when he ran back out, but he had on street clothes. He didn't have no uniform. So the game was over. But I do think it will be fireworks if Jaden Daniels does indeed play. And I will see what happens. But I know he was the number 1 overall pick, but that don't mean you better than the number 2 overall pick. Because if you go back to Hard Knocks, everybody in the top 3 had all them quarterbacks in. Everybody said the same thing. What did the Giants say? And we can pick. I mean, Chicago say who you want. Yeah. They said Caleb Williams because that's what they're supposed to say. When the camera went off, we want Daniels. Y'all want to switch it? No, we're gonna go with Caleb Williams. All right, cool. I bet you. I guarantee you right now, Jaden Daniels have a big game against Chicago on that flight back. When Caleb Williams walk by, good game, Caleb. They're gonna say, I told you we should have got the Daniels kid. We would have won the freaking game, but. We'll see what happens.
Love it. All right. Well, it's as we close our show every week, it's time for our boy. Before I head out, however, I just want to plug my own self right quick. Don't forget on Friday to check us out. It's Halloween fun for us this week because we won't see you on the next Friday. So check us out. We got some great stuff. We're going to break down all of week 8 for you, talk about all the good matchups, and got to see. Of course, our good Halloween fun, we're going to include our infamous segment, You Got Ghosted, which are guys you drafted high, and unfortunately, they ghosted your ass. And check us out, of course. Wake up with us, 8 a.m. on Sundays, as always. We appreciate you. All right, let me shut the hell up, and let's get on for the Skadoop of the week.
He's got Ben Troupe at the 15, at the 10, hurdles the man, spins to the 5. Oh my, still on his feet, still pounding to the goal line. He's gonna score!
What up, my beautiful people? Listen, let me say this. This ain't got nothing to do with y'all, but I just got to get something that's on my mind, off my mind, something that's on my chest, off my chest. When you are a good team, you surround yourself with good players. You don't get rid of them. I know you're saying this up, Ben. What are you talking about? I'm going to tell you what I'm talking about. In the words of Coach Prime, why did you ask that, Coach Prime? I'm glad that you asked. The Tennessee Titans today traded DeAndre Hopkins. This is the same Tennessee Titan team that picked that got Calvin Ridley in the offseason, paid him all that money to not throw him the ball. This is the same Tennessee Titan team that 2 years ago, they traded A.J. Brown. This is the same Titans team that didn't want to pay Derrick Henry. And this is the same Titans team that took their all-pro, that sent their all-pro safety, Kevin Byard, to the Eagles. All I'm saying is this. People, they say insanity is doing the same thing except in a different result. What are the Titans doing? It's bad enough you in Nashville and you're not a media darling, you're not in the big media market. Now you get rid of at least one of your best players and one of your most recognizable players. I'm just going to say this. Nothing screams we don't care more than to get rid of your good players and expect the bad players to do what the good players couldn't do. If you want to win, put the good players in. If you want to lose, man, go play for the Titans. I'm being Troupe, and I'm out.